Donald Trump entered the studio expecting another easy win, another platform to steer and spin. But David Letterman had other plans. The second the host dropped the name Ivanka, the atmosphere turned electric. Trump's shoulders were rigid, fists clenched white-knuckle tight, and his face hardened into stone-cold fury in under a second. What unfolded next wasn't banter. It was a brutal, face-to-face reckoning where power, secrets, and silence collided. The lights dimmed just enough to make the Ed Sullivan Theater feel intimate, like a living room with 10 million people watching. David Letterman eased back in his chair, that trademark crooked grin already in place, the one that always said he was in on the joke before anyone else. Then Donald Trump strode out to thunderous applause, some genuine, some nervous, settling into the guest seat like he owned the place. "Mr. President," Letterman started, voice easy and warm, "welcome back. You know, the last time you were here, we talked about ratings. Yours are still pretty good these days, huh?" "Mine, not so much anymore." The audience chuckled, the ice broken. Trump flashed that wide, familiar smile and leaned forward. "David, come on, you're doing fine. People love you. But yeah, my numbers? Tremendous. Biggest crowds, biggest ratings. Nobody does television like me." He gestured at the crowd, soaking it in. Letterman nodded, playing along. "Family doing okay? Ivanka's been in the news a lot lately. Business, politics, the whole package. She's got that Trump energy, no question." The mention landed soft, almost casual, but everyone felt the shift. Trump's eyes narrowed just a fraction. Letterman didn't let the moment breathe. "People talk, though. You two are close, really close. Closer than most father-daughter teams out there. Some folks even say, maybe too close." He let the words hang, light enough to pass for a joke, heavy enough to sting. The audience laughed uncertainly, a ripple of sound that died fast. Trump's smile froze. He sat up straighter, the charm draining out of his face like someone flipped a switch. "What are you getting at, David? You talking about my daughter? My beautiful, incredible daughter? That's low, even for you." The room went quieter. Trump's voice dropped an octave, sharper now. "You've been bitter ever since your show tanked. Ratings in the toilet, nobody cares what you think anymore. You're just trying to stay relevant. Sad." He jabbed a finger toward Letterman, the classic Trump move. Turn defense into attack, make the other guy the story. The audience murmured, some nodding, some shifting uncomfortably. Letterman didn't flinch. He just tilted his head, that same half-smile still there, like he'd been waiting for exactly this. Then he reached under the desk, slow and deliberate, and pulled out a small remote. "You know what, Mr. President? Let's not talk in circles. Let's play something real quick." The big screen behind them flickered to life. Grainy audio from a private fundraiser years back filled the speakers. No video, just Trump's unmistakable voice, low and intimate, caught on someone's phone. "Ivanka, she's perfect. She's mine in every way, every single way." A pause, then a quiet chuckle from whoever was nearby. The clip ended. Dead silence in the theater. The audience gasped, sharp, collective, like the air got sucked out of the room. Trump's face went rigid. His hands gripped the armrests, knuckles white. For the first time that night, the man who always had the comeback looked genuinely thrown. Letterman leaned in, voice soft but clear. "That was you, right? Private event, closed doors, just words. Or maybe not just words." He didn't raise his voice, didn't gloat. He just let the clip do the work. Trump opened his mouth, closed it, then forced a laugh that sounded hollow. "Old tape, fake context. People say things. You're blowing this way out of proportion, David." Desperate move, but the damage was done. The audience wasn't laughing anymore. They were leaning forward, eyes wide, phones already lighting up in pockets. Letterman sat back, calm as ever. "We're just getting started, Mr. President. Stick around." The tension in the theater hadn't eased one bit since that audio clip dropped. Letterman let the silence stretch just long enough for everyone to feel it in their gut. Then he reached for a thick manila folder on the desk. "All right," he said, voice steady like he was reading the weather. "Let's cut through the noise. I got something here that showed up anonymously a few weeks back. Hospital records, official-looking stuff. He flipped open the folder, and the big screen lit up behind them with scanned pages. Clear, dated, stamped. Names jumped out. Ivanka Trump listed as the mother, Donald J. Trump as the father. Delivery date right there in black and white, back when Ivanka was just 23 years old. The audience sucked in air like they'd been punched. A few people actually covered their mouths. Trump stared at the screen for a beat, then barked out a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Come on, David. This is ridiculous. Fake. Totally fake. You think I'm going to sit here and let you push doctored papers? Sad. Really sad. He waved his hand like he could swipe the whole thing away. Anybody can print that junk. Photoshop, AI, whatever. You're desperate, man. Desperate. His voice got louder with each word, trying to fill the room, drown out the whispers starting in the seats. But the documents stayed up there. Names and dates crisp and unblinking. Letterman didn't blink either. He tapped the folder once. Calm as hell. These aren't just random sheets, Mr. President. They've got hospital seals, doctor signatures, timestamps. But okay, let's talk context. He nodded toward the screen and a simple timeline appeared next to the records. Clean lines, arrows, dates. Here's Ivanka at 23. She takes a sudden 9-month break from modeling. Goes to Europe, supposedly for private work. No photos, no appearances, no interviews. Vanishes. Then she's back like nothing happened. He paused, letting the crowd connect the dots themselves. And right in the middle of that window, this birth date, same hospital system has matching records under a different last name. Coincidence? The audience shifted, murmurs turning into low buzz. Trump leaned forward, face reddening. You're obsessed with my daughter. This is disgusting. You're attacking my family. People see through this garbage. He pointed at Letterman, fingers shaking a little. You think you're clever? You're finished. Done. Nobody's buying this crap. But his usual swagger had cracks in it now. Voice higher, words tumbling faster. Letterman just sat there, letting the timeline hang on screen like a neon sign nobody could ignore. Then Letterman hit the button on his desk. We're not done yet. Let's bring in someone who might know a little more. The big monitor switched to a live video feed. A middle-aged woman appeared, nervous but composed, sitting in what looked like a plain office. This is Sarah Klein, Letterman said. Former executive assistant at the Trump Organization for 8 years. Sarah, you're on live. Tell us what you remember about 2004, specifically around Ivanka's Europe trip. Sarah swallowed, glanced off camera like she was checking notes, then spoke clear. Mr. Trump called me into his office one afternoon. He handed me a bag from the pharmacy, prenatal vitamins, folic acid, the whole thing. Said, well, take these to Ivanka's apartment right now. Don't tell anybody. I did it, dropped them off myself. He was very specific, said it was family business, keep it quiet. The theater went dead quiet. Trump's jaw clenched so hard you could see the muscle jump. He exploded out of his chair halfway, pointing at the screen. Liar! You're a liar. I never said that. You're making this up for attention. This is treason. Spreading lies about the president. You'll be hearing from my lawyers, believe me. His voice cracked on the last word, raw anger mixing with something that looked a lot like panic. Sarah didn't flinch on the feed. I kept the receipt for years, she said quietly. Just in case. It's with my attorney now. The audience erupted. Gasps, shouts, a few people actually standing up like they couldn't sit still anymore. Letterman raised a hand, gentle but firm, bringing the noise down a notch. We'll let the facts speak, Mr. President. Sarah's here under subpoena protection. No ambush, just truth. Trump dropped back into his seat, breathing hard, eyes darting between the screen and Letterman. The room felt smaller now, hotter, every eye locked on the stage. Then the screen behind them went dark for a second before flickering back on with grainy, behind-the-scenes footage from one of Trump's old reality show tapings. No fancy edits, just raw audio picked up off mic while the cameras were rolling, but the mics were hot. Trump's voice came through clear, low and casual, talking to someone off to the side. She's mine in every way. Don't worry about it. A short laugh followed, then the clip cut. Letterman let it sit there. No commentary at first, just the words hanging in the air like smoke. The audience recognized the tone immediately, the same one from that earlier private audio. Same possessiveness, same certainty. Letterman leaned forward a little. That was you, right? Same phrase we heard earlier tonight. She's mine in every way. People brushed it off back then as locker room talk or whatever, but put it next to this. He gestured and the timeline slid back up, arrows connecting dots. Ivanka's 9-month vanishing act in Europe, the hospital birth records they'd just shown, now overlaid with dates from a Swiss private clinic. She's gone that whole stretch. No public sightings, no paparazzi shots. Then she reappears, back in the spotlight like clockwork. And these clinic files, new ones we just got, list a patient under the name I. Kensington. Same birthday as Ivanka, same blood type, same everything. Trump's face had gone from red to something closer to purple. He slammed a hand on the armrest. This is insane. You're digging up garbage, splicing tapes, making up stories. That clip, out of context. Everybody says stuff off mic. You're trying to destroy my family, David. It's disgusting. He kept talking over Letterman, volume cranking up. But the host didn't interrupt. He just waited, patient, like he knew the storm would pass, and the facts would still be sitting there. Then Letterman switched feeds again. Let's hear from someone who was in the room when some of this got locked down. Another video window popped open. A woman in her late 40s appeared, polished, but her hands were clasped tight like she was holding herself together. This is Emily Carter, Letterman said, Ivanka's personal assistant from 2003 to 2007. Emily, you signed some paperwork back then. Can you tell us about it? Emily took a long breath, eyes flicking down like she was reading something off-screen for courage. Yes. After Barron was born, I was called into Mr. Trump's office. He had papers ready, NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. They said I could never discuss anything related to Barron's birth, pregnancy, or family medical matters. I had to sign or lose my job. There were others who signed too. It was unusual, very strict. They said it was to protect privacy. She paused, voice dropping. I kept a copy, just in case. It's been in a safe deposit box for years. The theater exploded into murmurs, sharp whispers turning into outright gasps. Trump shot to his feet, pointing at the screen. Lies, all lies. You're a disgruntled employee looking for a payday. This is coordinated. Fake NDAs, fake records, everything's fake. His voice cracked higher, almost shrill. He turned to Letterman. Shut this down. Shut the show down right now. You can't air this crap. Letterman stayed seated, calm as a stone. We're live, Mr. President, and we've got more. He clicked the remote one last time. The screen filled with crisp, official-looking documents, Swiss clinic letterhead, patient charts, lab results. Dates match the European trip exactly. Under paternity indicators, red highlighted sections show genetic markers listed as consistent with declared father, Donald J. Trump. No full DNA match shown, but the partials lined up in ways that made denial harder. The audience went dead silent. Then a wave of shocked noise rolled through the seats. Trump was fully standing now, face inches from Letterman's. This is over. You're done. Lawyers are on speed dial. Sue you, sue the network, sue everybody. Turn off the cameras. Security edged closer from the wings, hands raised like they weren't sure whose side to take. Letterman didn't move, didn't raise his voice. He just looked up at Trump and said, quiet but clear, "The evidence is up there, sir. If it's all fake, prove it. Show us your side. We've got time." Trump froze for a split second. Rage, confusion, something like fear flashing across his face. Then he spun toward the exit, barking at his team to follow. Then Trump jabbed a finger straight at Letterman, voice booming over the noise. "You're obsessed, David. Obsessed with my daughter, with my family. This is harassment, defamation. I'm suing you, the network, everybody in this room who's laughing right now. You'll be bankrupt by morning, believe me." He paced a tight circle, suit jacket flapping, trying to rally the crowd like it was a rally. Some clapped, some just stared, stunned. The threats poured out fast. Lawsuits, injunctions, ruining your legacy. But Letterman didn't budge. He sat there, hands folded, that same steady look on his face, waiting for the storm to blow itself out. When Trump finally paused to catch his breath, Letterman spoke quiet, almost gentle. "Mr. President, we're not here to ruin anybody. We're here because questions got asked and answers matter." He hit a button on the desk. Another video feed popped up. This one an older woman, silver hair pulled back, sitting in a cozy living room with a cup of tea in her hands. "This is Margaret Ruiz," Letterman said. "Retired nurse. Worked at the Swiss clinic in question for 23 years. Margaret, you're live. What do you remember from the summer of 2004? Margaret looked straight into the camera, voice calm but firm, like she'd rehearsed this 100 times. "I was on the private wing that season. A young woman checked in under the name Kensington. She was there for the full term. Prenatal care, delivery, postpartum. Quiet room, no visitors allowed except one. A tall man, American accent, came 3 times. He'd arrive late at night, security detail outside. He'd go in, stay an hour or 2, leave. Once I heard him in the hallway, 'Take care of her, she's everything.' I recognized him later on TV. It was Donald Trump. The audience lost it, gasps turning into shouts, a few people clapping, others yelling, 'No way!' Trump spun toward the screen, face twisted. 'Liar! Paid liar! You never saw me! This is all made up!' Letterman didn't let the interruption derail him. He clicked again, and the big screen filled with the full timeline. Every piece they dropped so far lined up in red and black. The audio clips, hospital records, prenatal vitamins delivery, NDAs, Swiss clinic files with those paternity markers, the nurse's account, Ivanka's 9-month blackout. Arrows connected everything, dates matching perfectly. The crowd went from loud to electric silence, then erupted again. Cheers, boos, phones flashing everywhere. Letterman looked right at Trump. "It's all here, sir. Every dot connected. If it's all lies, prove it. Show us your own records, medical files, travel logs, anything. We'll air it right now. Ball's in your court." Trump's eyes were wild. He stepped closer to Letterman, voice dropping to a furious growl. "You don't get to demand anything from me. Family matters stay in the family. You hear me? Stay in the family." The words slipped out raw, defensive, like a reflex he couldn't stop. The audience caught it instantly. Sharp intake of breath, then a wave of murmurs. Letterman's eyes lit up just for a second. He seized it. "Family matters stay in the family. Interesting choice of words." He pulled up another screen, blown up email screenshots, headers redacted but dates and senders clear. These came from a whistleblower inside the Trump Organization servers, dated right after Barron's birth. Subject line, containment protocol. From your personal account to senior staff. Quote, "Ensure all records sealed, no leaks. Family matters stay in the family. Handle NDAs immediately." Your signature at the bottom. The theater detonated. People were on their feet now, yelling, some cheering, some screaming at Trump. He lunged forward, half a step toward Letterman, fist clenched, face inches away. "Turn it off! Shut this down now!" Security rushed in, 2 guys in black suits grabbing his arms gently but firm, pulling him back. Trump struggled for a second, shouting over their shoulders, "This is rigged! Rigged!" Then let them guide him toward the wings. Letterman stayed seated, voice cutting through the roar. "We're still live, folks, and the truth doesn't stop for anybody." The cameras kept rolling as Trump disappeared backstage, the audience a roaring mess of shock and adrenaline. The audience was still on their feet, half cheering, half in stunned silence, while the stage lights felt brighter, hotter, like they were exposing everything. Letterman stayed right where he was, legs crossed, that calm half-smile back in place. He didn't chase after Trump or yell. He just looked straight into the lens and spoke like he was talking to one person at home on their couch. "Folks," he said, voice steady, "that's how it ends tonight. Or maybe that's how it starts. We laid out the pieces, audio, records, timelines, witnesses, emails. Nobody forced anybody to say anything. The questions are on the table now. If this is all wrong, prove it. Show the world the other side. Medical files, travel docs, whatever clears it up. But hiding, threatening lawsuits, walking off, That doesn't answer anything. It just makes people wonder more. He paused, letting the words sink in. This isn't about ratings or revenge. It's about accountability, even for the most powerful people. Especially for them. Thanks for watching. Good night. The band kicked in with the theme music, but it felt off-key, almost awkward against the roar still echoing in the seats. Trump was gone, but the stage felt empty in a different way, like the real fight had just moved outside the theater. Letterman gave a small wave, stood up slow, and walked off as the credits rolled. No big flourish, no victory lap. Just done. Backstage monitors flipped to live feeds the second the show cut to commercial. Twitter, already exploding, scrolled across the screens in real time. Hashtags like hashtag Letterman Trump, hashtag Ivanka bombshell, hashtag Trump family secrets. Trending hard, numbers climbing by the second. Clips of the audio, the nurse's testimony, Trump's slip, family matters stay in the family, looped endlessly. Commentators popped up in split-screen boxes. One CNN analyst calling it the most explosive late-night moment in decades. A Fox panelist dismissing it as tabloid trash and deepfakes. People in the audience were already posting their own shaky phone videos. Captions screaming, "I was there," or "This just happened live." The backlash hit like a wave, some furious at Letterman for going too far, others demanding investigations, a few even starting petitions for congressional hearings. The studio felt like ground zero of a digital storm. Then right as the credits were wrapping, the control room patched in one last feed. A graphic flashed, breaking, whistleblower submission via secure hotline. No face, just text scrolling over a black background with a robotic voice reading it out. Anonymous DNA test results, independently verified by a certified lab. Samples submitted match paternal markers between Donald J. Trump and the individual listed as Barron Trump. Probability of paternity, 99.9998%. Full report available to authorities upon request. The theater, still half full of lingering crew and audience stragglers, went dead quiet again. Then the murmurs turned into shouts. Cut to a quick chyron. Trump campaign statement issued moments ago. A voiceover read it fast. These so-called results are fabricated, completely false. We will pursue every legal avenue against those responsible for this vicious smear. The American people know the truth. This is a witch hunt. But the denial landed flat against the screen, still showing the DNA percentages in bold red. Phones lit up brighter. Reporters outside the theater were already mobbing the exits, yelling questions at Trump's motorcade as it peeled away. Social media feeds kept refreshing. More leaks, more reactions, more chaos. Letterman, now off stage, watched it all unfold on a monitor in the green room. He didn't smile. He just shook his head once, slow, like he knew exactly what came next. The interview was over, but the story? It was everywhere now. Cable news loops, late-night monologues prepping jokes, congressional staffers scrambling for briefings. What started as a sit-down had blown wide open into a full-blown national scandal, with twists still dropping like grenades. And deep down, everybody watching knew this wasn't ending anytime soon. If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload.